King Combs, Diddy's son, arrived at Manhattan Federal Court to support his father, who is facing serious charges including racketeering and sex trafficking. His presence has garnered attention because of the high stakes involved in the case.
How are you doing this morning? How's the coffee, Justin? Let's see, how are you feeling this morning? How's the twins?
Recently on Instagram, 4 of Diddy's 7 kids spoke up about their mom's virtuous character, emphasizing that she shouldn't be dragged into any conspiracy theories.
And Sean Diddy Combs' kids are speaking out for the first time since the music mogul was taken into custody. 4 of his 7 children released a statement on Instagram saying they want to clear up false rumors about their mother. Meanwhile, a new accuser is coming forward. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky has the latest.
The children, who don't mention their father's arrest in the statement, go on to write, "Our mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was."
And Aaron Katursky joins me now with more on this. Aaron, how significant is it to have a new accuser making claims like this camera as Diddy's facing these criminal charges?
Well, look, she is detailing in an anguished appearance with her attorney, Gloria Allred, what she said happened to her in 2001 and the lasting impact that she said it had on her, and coming after Sean Combs' arrest on criminal charges perhaps lends some additional credibility because he's already been charged in a racketeering conspiracy that sought out women for abuse.
Could that affect the criminal case at all?
The civil suit is at least the 12th filed against Sean Diddy Combs, and the first one from last November by Cassie Ventura is really what touched off the criminal case that led to Diddy's arrest and subsequent not guilty plea on the 3 criminal counts. Without the civil suit, there are probably not criminal charges against Sean Combs, but all the civil cases are now likely to be paused while the criminal case takes priority.
Now, some of Combs' children issued this statement on Instagram, speaking out in defense of their mother, but they didn't really mention their father. What do you make of that?
It was an interesting statement coming a little more than a week after Combs' arrest here in New York. And the children seemed quite protective of Kim Porter's legacy because there's this 60-page unverified manuscript online that claims to be Kim Porter's diary entries or a compilation of some of her thoughts. And the children said that it just isn't true. And they didn't want her and her memory commingled with him and the criminal case that he's now facing.
And what's next in that case now?
He's back in court in early October. For now, he is being housed in protective custody at a federal jail in Brooklyn. He's in a dormitory-style open housing cell with Sam Bankman-Fried, among others.
All right. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky, thank you.
Additionally, some supporters gathered outside the court, playing Diddy's songs and wearing jackets in his name. This caught the media's attention and highlighted his fan base's support.
Standing on the judgment seat, my nigga. LA. Isn't that Diddy on the YouTube? LA. Okay, now here's me. All right. Now, okay. Yo, hold on, yo. You that nigga, right? But I guarantee you never did this before, nigga. You never did that, huh? You ever did that? You did that before? You did that? You did that? Huh? How much is that? How much is that worth? If anybody can guess how much this is worth, how much this is worth?
Nothing.
Huh?
If he did it, nothing. It's not worth shit.
It ain't worth shit?
Nope. Now if he did it, on it.
Signed it, man. Yo, dog.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yo, dog.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you gotta see. Yo, dog. If I guarantee you, if I fuck you up right now with this Diddy on,
That'd be a good picture.
now you tell me how much it's gonna be worth then.
Oh, he's gonna be worth millions.
You ready? You from out of town, right? I'm gonna show you what. Yo, dog. Matter of fact, it ain't even worth it, dog. Yo, come on, dog. I beat up cops, dog. Get the fuck out of here, dog. This nigga stupid. I ain't even getting no points. Okay. So the devil, right? Oh, the devil's your friend. Okay, no, let me go, because you acting stupid.
After Diddy's bail was denied, he glanced back at his son sitting 3 rows behind him. Before leaving, he told the court, "I'll see you tomorrow," making it clear that he planned to fight back for his bail. It was a bold and determined move, showing he's not giving up anytime soon.
John, after hearing the news that bail was denied, Combs looked back at his 3 sons who were sitting about 3 rows behind him, patted his chest. When I asked his attorney what Combs said to him after that news, he said, quote, "I'll see you tomorrow." Why? Because they will be back in court tomorrow to fight that bail denial. This afternoon, though, Combs walked into court wearing a black T-shirt, gray sweatpants. He kept his focus mainly on the judge and at times looked at his attorney when he was speaking. The 54-year-old hip-hop mogul was charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and interstate transportation for prostitution. Following a months-long, prosecutors allege that Combs used his business empire to force women to engage in sexual acts with professional sex workers at events he called freak-offs. It was there that prosecutors say Combs was violent toward the women, alleging he would hit, kick, and even throw objects at them while dragging victims by their hair. The allegations in the indictment focus on one victim in particular. It appears to be the same victim named in that civil lawsuit in which Combs settled last November with his longtime former ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. In the beginning, Combs denied those allegations of wrongdoing, but when video surfaced in May of this year, about 6 months after that settlement in November, it showed him hitting and kicking and dragging Ventura at a hotel. He later would go on to apologize. The attorney for Ventura, Doug Wigdor, was in court today. He had no comment, but again, Combs is expected to be back in court tomorrow as his attorney plans to fight that bail denial. John?
Jerika Duncan, thank you.
Surprisingly, the bail was denied again, even though Diddy offered a $50 million bond, home detention, electronic monitoring, and restrictions on having women in his house. The judge said these measures were insufficient.
Tonight, where Sean Diddy Combs, for a second night in a row, is in jail pending the start of his trial. His appeal for bail denied once again today. Now, his attorneys telling the judge that Diddy was willing to post a $50 million bond here, along with conducting home detention, electronic monitoring, and even promised to not have any women visit his Miami home. The judge, though, responding by calling that insufficient, and that Combs could still, quote, obstruct justice and intimidate witnesses through other means, including coded messages.
The fight continues. We're not giving up by a long shot. I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and, I believe, inhumane housing conditions.
His attorney there, you just heard from, talking about the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, which has been plagued with problems, including drugs, and at least 4 people committing suicide in the last 3 years. Former inmates have actually described the facility as, quote, hell on earth. It's housed some high-profile inmates like R. Kelly, Michael Cohen, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Combs could see up to life in prison if he is convicted. He did plead not guilty on all charges so far. He's scheduled back in court come October 9th.
Magazines have reported that Diddy had a suicide night, and experts confirm that he's definitely in a tough spot. He was originally supposed to be an overnight guest in the cell, but now things are taking a different turn. It's really disturbing regarding the environment inside the cell.
The inmates that you're surrounded around, just in general, a lot of them are brought up on pretty heavy federal indictments, right? So just in terms of the atmosphere there, it's just certainly one that no one.
The same information? Are they saying it was possible?
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the SHU have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on suicide watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there, he was like an overnight guest. When they told his bond hearing, now they checked him into the system, and reality has hit him. And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. Now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on suicide watch. Another error that I guess some warden told you this. There are sentenced inmates there. They're called cadre inmates. They don't have to be white-collar inmates, but they're doing maintenance on the building. And the problem, why there's a lot of violence there, they have housing units. And they're mixing bank robbers, drug dealers, rapists with white-collar people. And this is why Diddy, he can't go into a regular housing unit because somebody will take him out for sure. Somebody's gonna get a lot of street credibility out of this. People that are doing substantial time that know they're never getting out. They'll just kill the guy. No questions asked.
You think that they'd suck up to him because he's got a lot of money, and if he ever does get the commissary options, he would be able to help them.
Some people do because
I got to wrap it real quick.
Okay, some people do think that Diddy can help him, but this guy's going to be locked up forever. His case will probably take at least 3 years to litigate. He'll stay at MDC. There's rumors that he wants to go to Essex County Jail in New Jersey because he doesn't like MDC. He's a Marshals inmate. There's no way they're going to transfer him back and forth, I don't know, several times a week. 6 marshals to do
to Jersey.
He's out of luck.
Listen, I'm going to have you back. I'm going to have you back. I have so many more questions for you, but we've had a lot of breaking news in this show. So Larry Levine, thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
Sean Combs' son remains silent when reporters outside Manhattan's federal court ask him about supporting his father, making the public to develop suspicion.
How can you support your father?
Did you witness anything?
How do you support him moving forward?
Y'all know this is about. Keep your heads up.
You are an issue.
Careful, pedestrians, careful.
Keep it strong. Much love.
Does the attorney have anything to say? How are you feeling, sir?
As reported by CNN recently, Damian Williams provided an update on Diddy's indictments, stating that Diddy used footage from freak-off parties as collateral against the victims and employed various other tactics to control them.
Over state lines, Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance.
Over 100 accusations have been filed against Diddy for various offenses, including sexual assault and sex trafficking. This alarming number includes 25 minors. Additionally, 3,285 people have contacted a Houston attorney claiming to be victims of Diddy, which is an incredibly shocking figure. Even the man taken into custody by the police claimed he was more like a sex slave to Diddy.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot of business, because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I was like a sex.
Welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. Let's take you out to another developing story as Sean P. Diddy Combs, another lawsuit being filed against him, this coming after the federal indictment in the recent weeks, as he faces a lawsuit of more than 100 people and allegations of sexual abuse and sexual assault. The Texas-based attorney Tony Busby making this announcement earlier on today. Let's bring into the conversation right now Fox 26 reporter Donnelly Keith. Donnelly, thank you so much for joining us. What is involved in these allegations and what details can you share?
Hey there, Andy. Yeah, Houston attorney Tony Busby says 3,285 people have reached out to him claiming to be victims of Sean P. Diddy Combs. And he says after some vetting, he is now representing 120 of those people who will bring civil lawsuits against P. Diddy. That's 60 males and 60 females, including 25 children. Some of these accusations are pretty disturbing.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. You should know that more than 55% of the victims reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police.
O.G. Percy, in a podcast, talks about how tough it is for a 54-year-old Diddy in jail, saying it feels like being buried alive.
At 54, hey, you need to be doing what I'm doing, trying to raise my kid. Right. At least see him get somewhere. At least see him grow some hair on their head. Right. Now, Diddy, that's hey man, at 54, you can't afford to catch no time. Hey, when I stopped playing in the system, when I got of age, you know what I'm saying? Man, that hurt. 54 years old? That ain't, let me tell you what hurt. The time they gonna come at him with, that's gonna kill him. Nigga, what? At 54, even if they gave you 10 years.
Yeah, you like, fuck.
Oh, but you know, you looking at way more than that. So guess what, you have, boy? And then you think all your little money, all your, what they call the pills? See, that one, they don't know the pills is exactly what they call. They gonna pill you for whatever you got left. Oh, he got some more money to pill.
Do you think his lawyer really has his best interest?
Well, you know, nobody lawyer just has their best interest. No, shit, yeah, his best interest is his money.
During a press conference, a DOJ official went through a lengthy list of accusations against Diddy, along with sex trafficking and other disturbing acts. They highlighted the use of various drugs and the different tactics Diddy allegedly used to pressure his victims. The prosecutor stayed silent when asked about the delays in law enforcement, but assured that justice would be served in any situation.
That used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Look, our investigation is ongoing. We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long. I think the better focus is on the fact that we are here today. And we are committed to making sure that justice is done.